Welcome back to the Wanted Podcast. We're on episode 8 today. It's been a couple weeks, but we're doing this again. We had a break, but we're back in the game to provide y'all with some good content for our couple viewers. But that's besides the point. This chapter review is going through spoilers only. We don't really have the full chapter. Give it a couple more days, but at the end of the day, we're gonna make another video, hopefully, when the full chapter review comes out. We're just going off of spoilers here, so be mindful that our facts may or may not be 100% true yet.
All right, so before we get into the chapter, let's talk about Film Red. That came out last week. Pretty mixed reviews so far coming from fans, at least in the US, because everyone else has been able to see it so far. But now that we finally got it, we can actually give a full-on opinion about the movie.
Yes.
Personally, I think it's a solid 8 out of 10. It has some issues, but overall, it is a very enjoyable experience, very fun. It's a good movie to just turn your brain off and be like, yeah, this is just some One Piece action.
Yeah, definitely. Only problems that I have, and a majority of people that I've seen had that actually watch One Piece, is Uta. Uta was I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be real here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Uta was a terrible villain. Like, probably top 5 worst. She had a great start to it. Very great start. But nearing the end of the movie, spoilers ahead. Nearing the end of the movie, her reasoning towards it was just so bad. I get why she did it at first, because she thought that Shanks was responsible. But when they revealed that it was her fault all along and that she knew, and she still went along with her plan, it just kind of foiled her whole character at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, she's just confused at that point. She doesn't know what she wants.
So in that, they were trying to say that the music was also corrupting her, as well as the mushrooms she was eating, but even still, those were things that were kind of influencing her, like, as the movie was already progressing. Like, she was already doing these things with the knowledge that it happened. The reason why it worked as first is because when you were first watching the movie and you're going through the opening sequence, the first act, and you're kind of seeing the interactions between Uta and how she acts towards the audience and the Straw Hats, and you're kind of like, something's not right. She seems kind of crazy. At least that's how I felt when I was watching it. I was not expecting her to be the villain, to be honest. I really didn't know what to expect from this movie.
Yes.
But I liked how it was going at first. It seemed like she was like slowly descending into madness, and I liked that. Mm-hmm. And then it was just, okay, well, she's doing it because she thinks Shanks destroyed the village and burnt everything down. Okay, well, actually, we find out that he didn't do it. And then we find out that she knows he didn't do it and kept doing it because she felt like she had already gone too far and that she had, like, the devotion to start a new world by killing everybody, basically. She was pulling an Eren Yeager. So...
Madara.
Yeah, Genjutsu is literally what she was doing. She's putting everyone to sleep, putting them in a dream world. It was pretty cool. I just kind of wish her motives were a bit more straight. That is really the only gripe anybody has with the movie.
And another note, I was low-key kind of confused near the end of the movie. It's kind of very subtly hinted at that she died.
Yeah, so the way they were playing it was that either she died or that Shanks took her along with his crew when they sailed out. I feel like the way this is going is this can be seen as potentially in the manga, because I won't lie, this movie is definitely a manga reader movie, especially with all the things that happen in it. Gear 5, Jinbei is more interactive with the crew. We hear about Sword. But I think what they're doing is they're setting up Uta. We could potentially see her with Shanks in the manga as a canon character. Then again, it's up for debate. Anything could happen, but I feel like what they're doing is you can take it as either she's dead or we're going to see more of her later on, because I feel like if she did die, it would have been a bit more on screen and not off screen. I think there's a reason why Oda's leaving that like up to anyone's understanding.
Yeah. But overall, I give Film Red an easy watch for non One Piece readers and watchers, and overall a great time. If you haven't seen it, spoilers ahead, Uta, terrible villain. But if you can look past that, One Piece Film Red is a great movie. I recommend it. I'd actually see it again if I could.
Yeah, it's got great music. There's something you can like. Even my girlfriend, she loved the music, even though she's not caught up on One Piece. It is good music. I'm not sure what the artist's name is. I know
I
there's
know.
people. Yeah, I know there's people who did go see it specifically because she was the singer in the movie. But it's good music. Is it's a solid movie. Definitely not the best One Piece movie, but it is a good one. All right, now chapter
M66.
1066 or 1066.
The Will
Our
of O'Hara.
spoiler discussion. So we're looking at the leaks. I've got mine from Reddit talking about Redon's leaks.
Hmm. I got mine from Twitter too. I mean, they're two different sources, same picture, same everything. Um, so when we start off with the spoilers of this chapter, it says when Vegapunk arrives in O'Hara after the world government's attack, he sees a group of giants taking the books out of the lake. Now, during the attack of O'Hara, if you can recall, the citizens there were throwing their books into the lake to protect it from being burned by Akainu and um, be frosted by Kizaru. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think all this is really just more uh, of an insight into what's going on, right before the Buster call on O'Hara, and especially the reveal that yes, Dragon and Vegapunk were present during it. So there's obviously some business that they have there, and I feel like focusing on this scene in particular is trying to tell us something.
Yes. And obviously, and in the next page, Dragon, it says that Dragon, who is there with him, tells Vegapunk that they are from Elbath and they're commanded by someone with badges all over his body. Now, get this. The person that has badges all over their body, bandages, badges, that man, Saul, same Saul that we saw Kizaru Frost in the time chamber. Oh, I believe that Kizaru always wanted to do not Kizaru, Aokiji. I believe that Aokiji always wanted to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, he had to follow his orders by the world government, or else, he'd probably be killed too. And that's why he saved Robin, and that's why he presumably saved Nico Olivia too. But only time will tell.
Yeah. So another thing here is Vegapunk meeting Luffy. We are gonna get to see what Vegapunk looks like in this chapter. Um, uh, Vegapunk is well aware that Luffy is Dragon's son, and I do see different leaks describing what Vegapunk potentially looks like. I see one where it's saying that he has a big head in the flashback, and then he has a small head when we actually meet him. I do remember, I think, when his silhouette was first shown back in Punk Hazard, he looked like he was from, like, the Longhead tribe. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if we're still going to get to see something like that, but, we'll find out when we find out, most likely either tomorrow or Thursday. That's usually when we get the official scans. It is already printed. It is already in print, so we just gotta wait to get those leaked and scanned.
Yes.
So we find out that the Giants, and as well as Saul in general, they actually took the books from O'Hara and they took them to Elbath, and that Vegapunk actually goes there and studies there for a while. He talks with Saul and all the other giants, and that's, I think, what this is kind of hinting at is that Elbath as we're seeing it's becoming important in this chapter in particular, that it's probably the next island. I don't know. What do you think?
Honestly, I think that I think that what's going to happen here is the world government is obviously going to find out that their books are in the Elbaf, and that can be the whole Elbaf arc. Luffy and the Straw Hats versus the Gorosei finally coming to fruition during that arc when they actually switch over to Elbaf. Or it could be something involving Loki. Everybody forgot about Loki, how important he is into the story of Elbaf. And I'd really love to see how if Loki is a good or a terrible guy.
Yeah, I think everyone we've heard that has to do with Elbaf, especially back all the way back in East Blue, or sorry, not East Blue, Grand Line, when we first heard of Elbaf, everyone I feel like is going to play an important role when that arc comes. Loki too. I do think that's a character that we know about, but not a whole lot about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that we're pretty excited to see. Um, yeah, overall we've got some big expectations for Elbaf. It's obviously going to be an Usopp arc because we do know that he needs that buff. He needs to train. This is where he wants to go. He's been wanting to go since forever. So a lot of expectations. Vegapunk, we actually get to see where he decides he wants to not exactly join the Navy, but get on good terms with them. And Dragon obviously does not like this. You know, he says you're going to become a government lapdog. I guess we're going to find out what Vegapunk's true intentions with working with the Navy is, besides from just the funding. I feel like there definitely is a reason why he is doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so the most important thing, Vegapunk is going to mention a war that had to do with the Ancient Kingdom, which we found out about last chapter, and 20 nations. And this war, along with the world government, happened in the Void Century. So we're getting right into the Void Century stuff. It's a lot of hype, but we are at that point in the story where now is the time where we're really gonna have to start focusing in on this. I do think that the reason why Vegapunk is telling the Straw Hats this is because, well, not just because Luffy is Dragon's son, but he trusts them and knows that he can leave this information in their hands for the good of the world, because I'm sure he's well aware that Luffy, the kind of person that he is, wants to free everybody. So he's going to go on as Joy Boy, free everyone, and Vegapunk can trust him with this information to carry on, because Vegapunk, as we know, is saying that he feels like he is going to die very soon.
Yes. And it also can be that the original Joy Boy was a giant. It's been subtly hinted at through the giant straw hat at under Mary Joie to, the talk about him throughout Skypiea being tall. It's pretty much hinted at that he's a giant. So why not tell Luffy about Elbaf and where to find this information about Joy Boy and probably how to use more of his power.
Yeah, you know what I think is not even that he could have been a giant, but we did see Luffy become a giant when he first got where he first awakened the fruit, and though it could go like in the way that they're going to go to the Elbaf. They're probably going to get into an argument with the Giants, and then Luffy's going to go Gear 5, become a Giant. They're probably all going to freak out because he's the Sun God that they've been waiting for, and we'll get to learn more about Joy Boy and the history with that, because Luffy is obviously going to show that he can get just as big as them and go toe-to-toe with them.
Mm-hmm. That'll honestly be the best outcome here. Because I wish that Joy Boy is from Elbaf and that he was a giant, because it would be so different compared to how other animes do it. Because him being a giant, him being a different species
Yeah, him
other
just,
than
just
humans.
being different, like it, not like it's a whole destiny thing where it's like, okay, every human they're going to be exactly the same way, are going to become this person. No, it definitely fits One Piece with the theme. One Piece is a very diverse story,
Yeah.
so it would fit to have Joy Boy be a different race than just regular human. Not race, but species.
Yes, and that would be so interesting to see how he uses fruit with his tallness and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that's why Oda showed that off in that chapter. Not just because, technically Kaido is supposed to be really big, even though, like, we know that when Oda draws him and then when we see the anime that Kaido really isn't as big as he was first introduced as. It's just random scenes where the sizing looks different. But in that particular scene, when Luffy gets used was just to show how much stronger he can be than, like, Kaido, and how he can definitely go toe-to-toe with giants.
Yeah, definitely, easily. I feel like those giants aren't really gonna be much of a hassle towards him. Obviously, he beat Kaido, so I mean, there has to be somebody like Loki. Loki can be
But I
somebody.
mean, if anything, we don't know for sure because we know that Elbaf fighting and being a warrior is like a really big deal there. So
Mhm.
for all we know, these are some of the strongest people in One Piece, possibly even contending with Luffy. But obviously, we know how the story goes. Luffy's going to come out on top. But I would not be surprised to see there be a little bit of struggle between Luffy and whoever he ends up fighting in Elbaf.
Yeah, I believe nothing more than like Gear Fourth to push him to beating them up. Now Loki, I'm not sure if he's gonna be a villain or if he's gonna be like some sort of hero because he's blacked out in every single appearance we see of him. He's always like the traditional One Piece darked out character.
Yeah. I mean, he looks. He does look more like he's supposed to be intimidating. But, I mean, for all we know, he could just be like a regular looking kind of giant guy. I mean, because there has been some fan art of him where he looks just like a fucking regular giant. The crown, obviously, he's supposed to be a type of god. Well, I mean, we'll just have to see how it plays out. I do think he will be introduced in this arc, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that he's gonna be sort of fat, judging by his
I mean, that could just be a cloak, for all we know. That's just the silhouette of his cloak.
Yeah, he kind of has that like Big Mom Kaido type of body where they're huge as fuck, but they got tiny legs.
Yeah, he kind of does.
But I'm happy. He seems like he's a nice guy in these photos. He's handing out flowers and shit. But I believe that he's like one of the dark princes. He's like everybody thinks that he's good, but in reality, he's destroying the entire country. Something like Crocodile.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to find out. But, hey, that's the chapter. A lot of things, we talked about it. But we're just going to have to wait till we actually get to read it. But I think that was a good covering of the spoilers as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Void Century and this war that apparently happened all the way back then. I personally think that it is not uncommon and is very normal thing that the world government has just been resetting the world anytime major conflict happens, such
Yeah.
as a apparently 20 country war with the world government itself. So what I'm guessing that Vegapunk is talking about is that they probably caught on to something, potentially even Joy. This could have something to do with Joy Boy, where he was, telling the story of maybe Eam to all these people in these countries, and they're all listening to him. And they're like, okay, we need to rise up and go against this world government and take them all down. So
Yeah.
this obviously scared them. They're like, okay, we're just gonna make one big reset button and just wipe out all this, start fresh again. So I don't know if this is the ancient king. So the ancient kingdom. I forgot to say yes, they were involved in this. I'm not sure if this is the 900 years ago, and if that's what we want to say, we can estimate the time being about 600, the year 600 is when this would have taken place, because you know that the Nolan story was 400 years ago, and the date was 1100, so the year is 1500 in One Piece. So if we want to go back 900 years, that is the year 600. But then again, we don't know if those years are like a confirmed thing.
Yeah.
But for all we know, okay, so we do know that they were an advanced society. So for all we know, it was a completely different year, and they just reset back to zero, started again.
Yes.
Because you can infer easily, Eames immortal. Uh, Not that it could have been from the Ope no Mi with the immortality surgery. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I just think Eam is a god of sorts that has just been here for way longer than we could even think right now. I definitely think she has been here much longer, even from the beginning of the world.
The Mother Earth. That's what I believe she is.
But yeah, that's what I think. That's what this whole war is going on with. Obviously, Vegapunk is not just saying this. I do think either when this chapter actually gets shown and we get to read it ourselves, or whether that will be covered in a later chapter, it's not just going to be left to a throwaway line. This is definitely really important.
Yeah. I believe that Eam was the most powerful tyrant of the world. Like, period. She had plenty of nations under her belt. She had plenty of places to rule over. And I believe that all those 20 countries banded together to try to stop her. And they succeeded. But last minute, Eam probably pulled a trick or something and got him or some shit. Like she pulled a trick or something and destroyed him. And she's trying to prevent the world, how it is now, how powerful they are now, from realizing that she is still alive to try to finish her off.
Yeah. You know what? I just thought about this really. What if this ancient kingdom is the race that Kuma is a part of? Because Kuma has said that he was part of a special race.
Oh,
Could
yes.
this potentially be could he be a descendant of this ancient civilization that somehow just a sliver of that DNA managed to survive and pass down onto Kuma?
And
We
he
don't
was
know.
the king. He was the king of an ancient
He was,
kingdom, to be sure.
and he was called the Tyrant Kuma. That obviously, apparently, he was a good guy. So for all we know, that was just a label put on him to make people hate him. It seems like he was a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Now I really think about it. There's a lot of things. I mean, he could even be the same species as Eam, for all we know. I do think that this special race thing that was mentioned previously is important.
Yeah. I think Eam is like, her appearance is probably that of beauty, and she's like normal human type. I would be kind of uncomfortable with her being like a Gecko Moria body type with just a big ass feet, like big ass head, and a small ass body.
I've
I'd be kind
seen
of
the fan art. Yeah, I've seen the fan art where they like make her look weird, but she's probably just like the most beautiful woman in the world. Like I don't think that she's gonna look like a weird species. I do think she's gonna look very much,
yeah,
like everybody else. I mean, she could look Lunarian for all we know, because that's also a new race that was kind of just introduced into One Piece. But I do think she will at least be more humanoid than just
yeah,
some random looking creature.
yeah. She has to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Maybe Eam. We're just talking about Eam. Maybe Eam during the Void Century. It was Eam and her husband, the real king. And they took him down, beat his ass. And she's the only one left now. And she wanted to reset the world so to prevent them from finding out that she's still alive. Some shit like that. I don't know. That'll be pretty cool.
I mean,
But
I could see there being like a whole thing with Eam where like she's not actually the bad guy. I don't know how Oda wants to go because like I'm not gonna say how it should, because I feel like that is also kind of cliche in its own.
Well, Eam is the bad guy. We know that she's
But
ordered
yeah, there's
people.
some pretty fucked up shit. So I don't
Yeah,
think that you could really. I think you could try to maybe sympathize with her, but so far I don't think it has anything to do
yeah.
with that.
Oda can. That's the thing about Oda is he's very unpredictable with these kind of things. Like look at Gear 5. Everybody thought Gear 5 was going to be fucking.
Full body armament hockey with glowing, like just a basic shonen, like we
They
said
thought,
before, just a
yeah,
basic
bro.
shonen and transformation.
They thought he was gonna be the resin fruit, all these other shits, and he just always surprises us with something completely different that we would have never thought of. That's the scary part about it, because Oda, unlike other anime, like I'd say Naruto, for example, which you could see like, all right, the final villain has this motive. It's unclear, it's something that we will never know until it gets revealed. And that's the
It's
scary
the
part.
thing though with One Piece is it's a lot more setup than other animes like Naruto. I've seen people try to compare a Kaguya to Im. It's like you can't compare those two because Im is clearly someone that has been foreshadowed and set up for enough time to actually understand how they can be the final villain. Kaguya just came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, like
And
it's in
he even admitted that he only created the multiple tailed beasts so that he could set up Baruto. So you
yeah,
can't even
it's
fucking use that as an argument.
Kaguya. It's been hinted at, but like not Eam hinted at. It's been hinted that Eam's been here. We've seen Eam. It's been hinted that Eam's been here from the get go. You know, and it's just like Kaguya. She was a terrible villain because you had such a great villain like Madara Uchiha, who was the pinnacle of all ninjas, who should have been the last villain, but they had you know pulled an ass pull kind of. Naruto fans will be like, "Oh, no ass pull. It was hinted on chapter 960,000. That one clip where Naruto pulled that shit out of his ass, and it's a Kaguya on the little corner of the paper. Some shit like that. I see it all the time. But you know, Kaguya was an ass pull. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
But changing topic, we have a whole bunch of other topics we can talk about here, other than E. We was going to talk about, is Vegapunk an ally or an enemy? But from what we've seen here, we already got the pass from Megapunk. So ally confirmed. Usopp. Usopp needs a buff, man. I'm kind of tired of, I'm kind of tired of the bullshit, bro. It's been years in our time and in your One Piece time, and Usopp still is canonically the weakest Straw Hat.
Yeah, I think even like we were saying, Elbaf is his good arc to actually learn some things. Because yes, you can say that despite him being weak, he's still a weak Straw Hat. So yes, he is strong, but it's the fact that the Straw Hats really need to be on par with each other. Of course, there's the big three. Yes, they're gonna be like the super strong ones, but they do have varying strength. But everyone below Jinbei, okay, everyone below Sanji, I'll put it there because fucking he's number 4. Everyone below number 4 needs to be on the same page.
Yes. That's the thing, though. It's just so. The thing about the Straw Hats is it's kind of inconsistent compared to other pirates. I mean, for example, let's just say Shanks, right? Shanks is the strongest, obviously. Then there's what's his name, Ben Beckman,
Beckman.
and then there's Lucky Roo. Then there's the rest of the straw red hair fucks, um, Yasop and that monkey ass guy. I forgot his name, but there's the 5 guys, all of them beyond Shanks beyond Shanks and Ben Beckman. The rest of them at the bottom are be like relative in strength, right? And you can see that in other crews, like let's say the Roger Pirates. We had Gabon, Rayleigh, and what's his name at the top, Roger at the top, and then at the bottom you had the other guys who was just fighting fodder at that point.
Yeah.
And it was a good power balance because the people at the bottom was still relative to each other to the point where they can compete. The thing about the Straw Hats is, it's Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, all three of them at the top, right? And then Jinbei's in the middle of that, right? Good median between them and the low tiers of the crew. And then behind Jinbei is Brooke, fucking Frankie, right? That's the mid tiers of the group. Jinbei, Book, and Frankie, right? Those are the mid tiers, and the low tiers, are Chopper, um, Usopp, and Robin and Nami. Well, I'm not sure about Robin now because Wano that big upgrade, but she can still be considered low tier.
I mean, okay, so with Robin, I really do want to. I honestly, I think I can put her above Sanji personally. I know that's kind of like a hot take. I do put her above Sanji. Um, she was of course, obviously the most wanted woman in the world doesn't really translate to strength, but she does have a really powerful devil fruit, and even Vegapunk took into account when she saw when Lilith looking at both Zoro and Robin. Vegapunk Shaka was like, "Hey, do not fuck with them because they will rock your shit." And I don't know if that's just because they're like Straw Hats and they're known for that. I do think that was like an important moment. Because like Robin, she doesn't really get a whole lot of fight scenes as much as she really should. I know that her important part is the Poneglyph stuff, but she definitely deserves some more scenes. I know she got some in Wano, but she definitely deserves more. And I think her strength is there. We just haven't got to see enough of it.
Yeah, like it can awaken if she trained enough. I think that she would be very devastated in the combat. We finally seen her take a battle seriously, and she took down one of the I forgot their names. It was that group of people in Wano.
Kobe Ropo?
Toby Oropo. Yeah, she took down one of the Toby Ropo. We
Black
haven't.
Maria. She took down Black Maria.
The thing is about Robin is we haven't seen her fight anyone of significance in the series, really. Besides her only important fight, which was what's her name? I forgot it. That's how unimportant Robin's fights are. You don't even remember them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Usopp is way too low. Just like think of his crew. Think of all the crew parts, right? Think of all their functions in the crew. Luffy's a leader, obviously. Zoro, he's just the brawler. He's the guard dog of them, right? And then Sanji's the cook, right? Nami's the navigator. Chopper is the doctor, right? All of their parts are like significant. But why is Usopp one of the people that have one of the most important parts of the crew, yet he's the weakest, right? He's the sniper. He's supposed to be surveying the area, making sure that they're safe in their raids. Yet he is the weakest of the crew. He doesn't have any ornament. He has terrible observation from what we've seen in the series, not film red. And it's just like, when is he going to get this buff?
Yeah, I think what it is that his buff is coming. I'm not sure what Oda's plan is. Obviously, his whole shtick from the beginning was his thing with what do you call it? It's being a liar, being a coward, and I kind of when the time skip did happen, it did seem like he was getting over those things. Of course, we know that that wasn't the case,
Exactly, bro.
but I feel like Oda has a plan, and we're just gonna have to see how everything plays out.
It's just that, when he came back from the time skip, bro, was ripped. He was ripped, bro. He was like, "Yeah, what's up, bro? I'm ready to fight." And like two more chapters later, we're in Fishman Island, whatever. He's being a pussy. It's like he didn't learn shit.
Yeah. Then
No.
again, like I said, he's got a plan. I do think this Elbaf arc is gonna be his time to shine.
Yeah, but like the thing is, how far does he have to train to match up to his dad? Because his dad is a part of a Yonko crew, and he's the top four, right? Usopp is the top 10. He's at the bottom, bro. He doesn't have anything. How is he ever going to match up to his dad when they meet, like face to face?
I think that maybe he doesn't even have to be as strong as Yasop. Maybe he's gonna be his own kind of person and his strength.
Well, I mean, in strength, the one thing about One Piece strength is like it's not like when it comes to strength, it's very versatile, yes. But like when it comes to people who are using guns and shit like that, there's only a far way you can go from like the rest of them. Like Yasop, he uses actual guns. Usopp uses slingshots, which is very different. But the way that he uses them are just so underwhelming. They don't do shit, but like incapacitate the opponent, the opponent for a couple seconds, and then they're right back on their feet.
Yeah.
It's not like a gun where you could shoot it and actually hurt the fucker. It's his weapons are more so support, right? And that's the thing. That's the thing. He's supposed to be support, right? But how he doesn't isn't very useful at all. Like let's say it was him and Robin against somebody, right? Robin is having trouble. He'll use that little green vine shit to incapacitate them, right? But that's not hurting them. That's not doing a lot of things to, do shit. Let's be real. Like he's not doing shit. And it's like it's so sad because Usopp is one of my favorites. And he doesn't get anything done in the crew. He's the most useless, literally.
Yeah.
But hopefully I don't think he's gonna get much hockey in Elbaf. I think he's gonna get more weapons for his staff. Whatever it is, slingshot.
Yeah, I think his weapons can get upgraded, and I think he'll probably implement hockey into Kabuto.
Yeah.
He's got to.
He's a joke, bro. How is he? And the thing is, how is he going to fight against the Blackbeard's sniper who can teleport?
I think
And
the only way
has
he's got that is the false future thing.
exactly like he needs to have hockey, bro. He has to have future sight. Really, it'll be a perfect balance between them. The thing is, like, what's stopping Blackbeard's crewmate from teleporting another crewmate to take down Usopp while he snipes? You know,
Yeah, because we know Blackbeard isn't gonna play fair.
he's not. Blackbeard does not play fair. I mean, and the thing is about Blackbeard's crew that I love is that they work together so damn well. He was literally like the stuff that we haven't seen with the Straw Hats at all. Like, really, they all have their
He just
individual
jumped
fights,
a Lost crew, bro.
and he
They
was
all
beating
went
their
together.
ass. Like he had the
We
fucking
we still don't even know the outcome of that, but I mean, we can assume that
yeah.
Blackbeard's gonna come out on top.
Like, he was riding the Pegasus while using the like he was just interacting with his crew so well to the fact that I was like, why don't the Straw Hats do this? Like you see in their intros, fucking intro 18, their Usopp uses the, long shit and they're all running on it, fighting the air, whatever the fuck they were doing in that intro. Luffy punching and kicking the air and shit. Zoro
Yeah,
slicing
like
the
I was
air.
hyped when we got to see the Straw Hats like work together in film Red.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you really don't get to see that as much. It's been a lot of just solo fights, but hopefully I think we are gonna start seeing those a lot more. Especially we kind of have been seeing it in here, been getting ready to fight together in Egghead.
Yeah.
But hopefully we do get to see more of that because that is where it really does kind of lack with the crew, is how they interact with each other.
Mm-hmm. And it's getting to a point where crews are starting to be more like crews. They don't fight their own battles. Luffy is a Yonko now, so a whole like crews are going to come to him now. It's not like
Yeah,
he's going to different spots. I feel like he's going to be in Elbaf, and new crews are going to try to get him right since he's a new Yonko. Yeah,
yeah. I
that's
mean, I think we will start to see that, like people just trying to go after him and fight him.
yes, and that's where this comes in. The Gear Fourth and Fifth fusion theory. I believe that Luffy is going to have to fight somebody like Blackbeard, for example, who is just too strong for him. And he's going to implement Gear 5th into his Gear 4th forms. as a fusion, right? Let's say because Gear Fifth is not a form technically; it's more of a awakening, right? He can access it at any time with a snap of his fingers. In we've seen it in this recent arc a couple chapters ago. So what I believe is he's going to go, Bound Man or Snake Man, and either for a couple seconds he's going to switch into Gear Five in Bound Man and have a exponential power boost to the point where it's like uncomparable. But
Yeah.
the thing is that it's going to be very straining on his body to the point where he can't use it for long periods of time, like at all. Like it has to be like a couple attacks until he masters that. And that would be so damn cool. And it's such a Luffy thing. Because we've seen that he implements his forms into new forms. He implemented Gear Second and Third together, his attacks. And then he implemented all three of those into Gear Fourth with the speed, the power, and the gigantification, sorta, with his body to make him taller and bigger. So why not implement one of his greatest transformations, his strongest now being Gear Fifth. Sorry, that
Yeah, I
would be,
definitely think he will.
yeah,
Like especially Snake Man in Gear Fifth. I wish I would go hard.
yeah. I feel like he's gonna start. And the thing about that is we're also missing one more Gear Fourth form, which is Tank Man.
Yeah,
Tank
we
Man,
haven't seen that in a while.
and I was thinking like, yo, is he gonna pull that shit out on Kaido? That would be perfect. But no, he didn't. And Tank Man has a normal form. He said stuffed version. So I really want to see what Tank Man looks like. I believe that he's gonna be like not fat, but just muscly, like the Hulk, right? I feel like he's just gonna be a bodybuilder type shit. Arnold Schwarzenegger, huge. Having that tank mentality, right? He's gonna have no speed. He's probably gonna be like super slow, but his attacks reflect
He's
back.
gonna be a heavy hitter.
Yeah, his attacks reflect back, and he's gonna be a heavy hitter. Probably stronger than Bound Man and Snake Man. Like that'll probably be his strongest Gear Fifth form, not Gear Fourth form when it comes to power, but speed. It takes a lot of energy to move in it. I'd love to see that. I really like. I was so confused. I'm like, why didn't he use Tank Man? Because Tank Man, honestly, I was anticipating it a lot, bro. I was like, yo, when is he gonna use a normal form of Tank Man? Because you've seen what it did to Cracker. Cracker hit him with a fucking Cracker hit him with a fucking a sword, bro. Just like a normal sword attack. Something that Luffy base can tank now. But he hit him with a sword attack, and he got sent flying through mountains. Like he got sent flying through mountains from the recoil across the whole Cake Island. It's like he got sent flying across the entire whole Cake Island through mountains and shit from that one singular recoil from the sword attack. Imagine Thunder Bagua from Kaido, bro. And it was just like
Yeah, I that really would have worked against Kaido a lot better.
I believe
Really
that
should have.
I believe he's saving it for Elbaf or something for the Giants because I think it's gonna be a bigger form because he's probably gonna suck in a lot of air. But this time it's not gonna be biscuits and stuff because I feel like he's gonna suck in a lot of air and become big and muscly, right? Last time he sucked in a lot of biscuits and therefore the stuffed version he got, fat. I believe he's gonna be big, right? Probably with a smaller figure at the bottom, huge at the top. And that's gonna be his tank man. He can punch, he can do shit with it, but at the end of the day, he's not fast at all. So he's really relying on defense. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, man, Gear Fourth and Fifth fusion theory is gonna come true in the next 2 years. When that happens in Elbaf or something, you guys are gonna come back to this video and be like, "Holy shit, we didn't even think of that." Trust me, because it's gonna happen, bro, and it's gonna be the best shit you've ever witnessed, ever.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode. We covered a lot today.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we just gotta wait for that chapter to come out. We Make sure that we cover that chapter when it comes out.
Yeah, probably in 2 days.
2 days. Sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes it's Thursday, and even sometimes it's Friday. We'll just have to see.
We're gonna add pictures to it. I want to add some pictures to it. Yeah. So, all right. Guys. Thanks for tuning in. Our couple viewers, if you are here, put something in the comments saying that you watched it. Really appreciate the engagement. And yeah, thank you guys.